In this second part, we will discuss how to have an effective conversation and help solve problems, how to establish authority with your communication style and give directions, the principles of communication, beating strategies, keeping your cool and communicating like a leader, and finally, the basics of email writing, Zoom calls, or the etiquette you require on online meetings. Let us begin. So how do you have an effective conversation and help solve problems? Well, leaders who also invest their time and energy in delivering clear lines of communication will rapidly build trust among their teams, and that will lead to increases in productivity, output, and morale in general. Some ways in which you can ensure effective communication in a workplace include scheduling a regular time to communicate. In order to fix poor communication, you can write a brief description of the problem, the possible consequences, and propose solutions. Plan in-person or online meetings every few weeks or months in advance. Discuss projects, feedback about leadership, and suggestions for the future. Identify, clarify, and reinforce a common goal that is inspiring and motivating to the team. Identify and share effective and ineffective behaviors. This focuses on the general behaviors of team members that are working and not working or missing. You can also make a list of your current internal communication methods and determine what is effective and what really isn't. This way you can figure out where to make some changes to how people communicate in the workplace. Rewarding employees who surpass expectations in a task or excel in a project. Conducting surveys. A survey will help the team identify flaws that require action and unearth solutions to some of the most important issues. The survey should generally cover questions like, what behaviors help us get our work done? What behaviors hinder our work? List specific suggestions for improving our work or our team. Encourage an open door policy where employees are encouraged to have honest and meaningful conversations with managers and CEOs that prompts for positive changes at your workplace. How do you establish authority with your communication style and give directions? Well, you can start by making internal communication a topic at whatever staff retreats or evaluation sessions you hold to assess the entire organization. You can also ask for feedback at the end of staff meetings, either on the meeting itself, on the decision-making process, or anything else of concern. Regularly devoting all or part of a staff meeting to a review of internal communication procedures and how well they're working is also just as important. Check staff satisfaction on the level, speed, and inclusiveness of information and other communication that they receive. You can give people an option of answering anonymously so that they can answer honestly if you're afraid that they will not answer honestly in the first place. Include questions like, do you feel included in the working of the organization? Are they the last to know about things that affect them? Do they always or almost always have the information they need to do their jobs as well as possible? Monitor the period it takes to actually run a piece of information through the organization and whether it can be done accurately. Basically, play a game of organizational telephone by putting some information into the network, in this case, the network of all staff members, and see how long it takes to get to everyone and what it looks like once it gets there. If it's fast and reasonably accurate, congratulations. If it's sluggish and distorted, you have work to do. You have to make the required changes. Determine also if internal problems over a specific period of time, for example a year, have declined in frequency and severity compared to the previous period. If the changes are discernible, then that was as a result of improved communication. Let's now look at the principles of communication, meeting strategies, keeping you cool, and communicating like a leader. The principles of communication help you to focus on delivering your information effectively. That includes things like predetermining the end goal and drafting your communication effectively to reach for that objective. Determine which indicators can best demonstrate that your goals have been achieved. Engage other people in the conversation and listen to them. Determine the most appealing format to reach your audience and make sure your content and your messaging is tailored for that medium. Connect to the audience by using compelling visuals to draw them in and explain your point in addition to text. And finally, use simple and comprehensive language that is precise and well organized. According to Clear HR Consulting, frequent employee staff meetings do help to boost morale. They lower stress levels among staff and they encourage new and innovative ideas to bubble up. These are some of the effective meeting strategies you should consider. Determine the frequency of staff meetings and those who should attend, where you consider the number of employees, where they work, their workload, and the time involved during planning. Select the meeting topics like sharing company goal updates, noteworthy news, and giving praise and recognition. Prepare the agenda ahead of time and schedule the meeting. Seek feedback on improving staff meetings. Getting angry in an office context is a normal occurrence, but one can learn how to manage the anger in the best way possible. Some of the remedies include weighing the importance of the matter. Some of them do not require prompt reaction. You should always step away from the desk when feeling agitated, get some fresh air, and get back when you feel calm. Also, avoid taking issues personally. Trying to maintain a healthy work-home balance in order to avoid burning out, and discuss the issue when the anger has cooled off. Developing your communication and management strategies as a leader in an organization will help ensure that you're providing the type of leadership your employees need to help them succeed. As a leader in an organization, meet your employees on a regular basis to praise them for the work they have done, to empower them and discuss with them the progress that they're making on projects, departmental, and company news. Forbes magazine argues that it's important for leaders to develop the ability to read between the lines. Leaders should understand that even silence is communicating. These are some of the basics of email writing or the etiquette required in online meetings. Writing emails in the workplace requires a specific set of skills. Learning conventions related to structure and style will enable you to convey your message to your audience in a professional manner. Before sending your email, ask yourself, who is your audience and their likely reaction to what you're saying. You should always reply to emails as soon as possible. The major types of emails in the workplace include request and reply emails, which specify tasks that people need to complete or ask colleagues to acknowledge or comment on policies, meetings, or projects. And confirmation emails, which create a permanent written record of a conversation that has taken place. For example, if you and a colleague discussed collaborating on a project over lunch, you might send them an email with the details of that conversation. This gives you both a record of the conversation and it allows for it to continue if required. A formal email should always include these things. First, a subject line. Also include a greeting and a body. Always include the main point, the background for the main point of the email, and the closing paragraph, and use gratitude whenever possible. We have a sample of a call scheduling email in the resource section. Let's now take a look at virtual meetings. These may be a normal part of a team's everyday workflow, or it could be new to you. It could be that you're working with someone in a different part of the country or different part of the world. These are some of the basic etiquette everyone should follow to create a smooth online meeting experience. First, introduce everyone during the meeting within reason and give everyone a chance to contribute. Second, don't stare at your phone when other people are presenting their content. Third, don't interrupt other people when they're speaking or attempt to speak over them. Fourth, and this is extremely important, test all the technology. The camera, the video feeds, the Wi-Fi, the screen sharing ability. Test all of this before the meeting starts. Fifth, read the agenda and come prepared. Sixth, don't work on other tasks like checking your email or WhatsApp during the virtual meeting. Seventh, turn off all notifications and make sure your cell phone is on silent. And finally, make sure all team members are in a quiet area free from unnecessary distractions. Some of the tools that are frequently used for virtual meetings include Skype, Google Meet, Zoom, GoToMeeting, Slack, and many more. There are many more tools for virtual meetings, and they're all available for you to try out. To guide you with setting up a virtual meeting, we've put together a checklist for virtual meeting setup. You can use this as a guide for your next virtual meeting. So these are the things that you need to take care of before the meeting starts. First, is the link to the virtual meeting correct in the materials to be shared? Second, is the time correct in the invites? Double check this, especially if you have meetings across time zones. Third, have you indicated the preferred method for joining? Is it voice and video? Is it voice plus screen share and video, or just voice? Give your audience options. Fourth, do you have enough capacity, space, time for the expected number of participants? Fifth, have you prepared the settings you prefer in the systems? Have you set up a waiting room? Are you going to mute participants upon entry? Will they have the video on by default? Sixth, do you plan to record this meeting? And if so, have you informed the participants of this? Seventh, it's worth checking the lighting and the setting in which you'll be sitting if you're going to be on video. Has that been prepared accordingly? Eighth, have you downloaded a copy of the presentation you plan to use? This will definitely help you save on some bandwidth and any last-minute technical issues that might come up. But finally, and most important, practice. Remember to practice with your team and get regular feedback on your communication skills.